Hey, hi, hello, this is Alicia, and welcome back to I Love Vampire Novels, and a read-along for Bite Me box, which is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, by Brigitte Knightley. Yes, again, dramatic, because this thing is ridiculous. It's still ridiculous. We're like 3/4 of the way through. By the way, check out my bookmark, totally got it in my Bite Me box, in my V-Box quarterly Bite Me box. This is the monthly book. Oh my god, I can't wait to talk to you about this. So let's get into the vloggy bits, and then we'll be back to have a semi-analytical discussion about it. So, the spell didn't work. However, the romance is blooming at the moment. So there's that. I'm wondering if it's not working because she's hated him this whole time and he's hated her, and they need to That's my thought at the moment. Okay. I'm only a couple pages into this new section, so I'm gonna go back to it now. Wow, he killed all 40 men. That was fantastic. He almost did it all with one bootlace. That was fantastic. Okay. And not a drawn out fight either, which I also enjoy. So I really like how Aurienne dressed like a hooker and Osric got really jealous and the thighs of interest and not wanting to admit that she was beautiful. Getting really jealous and really upset about choking Hazard or whatever his name is, touching her and killing him on the way out because he was following her because he wouldn't take no for an answer, or he figured out who she was. Adorable. Absolutely fucking adorable. I like the commonalities that they're finding amongst each other, and the attraction is growing. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for something. It's getting a little frustrating. I want it to move along a little bit faster than it is, at least in some sense. We're getting a lot of world building. There's some character growth, but if we don't get a hint of something in this quarter of it, I'm gonna be highly disappointed. So there's that. I'm going to bed. I'm gonna finish this tomorrow. He kissed her hand. They both liked it. I'm glad we're progressing there. And to Xanthi again. It's a good thing you have some big bullocks because of the anti-fraying systems in place, and where Osric is supposed to go investigate. He requested a however you say it, a healer, and they refused. But Aurienne can go in with Osric as her guard. 2 birds, 1 stone. I do like her. Aurienne murdered someone. Murderer. Oh my god. Osric could jump into their guts because it's dark in there, and he's a shadow jumper, and oh my god, that was brilliantly gross. It was brilliantly gross. I love some ridiculous violence in my books, so I kind of love his character. That was great. Alrighty, the plot, it thickens. The plot thickens. I am so excited about where this is going. And dumb me, which should have known this the whole time. This is a duology, so this is the first in a duology. So the pace makes more sense to me. But there's still things that need to happen in book 1 to make it a good book, if that makes sense. I'm excited. I will be back with my thoughts here in a moment because I have to edit this and put this out in just a couple minutes, or a couple hours really, but yes, I'm behind today. My poor kitty. My poor kitties are sick. My poor sick kitties. We had to take her to the vet this morning. She's sleeping, she's resting, she's cute. Okay. We're going to start. How about where we ended? So, we had a cliffhanger for where we ended last week, and that was the blackout at the lighthouse. The bandits had run away. They were having a phenomenon, right? Which is what they needed for their hopefully to be success in healing Mr. Osric. And, y'all, that was such a sweet moment. So, 2 are holding hands. They're braced for all the wind and the birds and all this crazy stuff. Things are whipping around, and they're cute. She reaches for, the back of his neck where she's going to place her magical palm thing, which I don't know how to pronounce whatsoever, of course, and pushes her sheath into him. And there's this like moment where they connect afterward, and it's like, you know, they're like leaning against each other. She just kind of gives up. It's that forehead against his shoulder, whatever. They're breathing the same air, and then he wants to take care of her after, and it's super cute. And we keep seeing like moments like this, you know, kissing the back of her knuckles, getting really angry, and that was it Scrope touched her, and all, and like just like thinking about her. I'm like, no, those shapely legs, I wouldn't like those shapely legs. You know, it's just like these little notes of attraction which are building. I like that. They're starting to like hate each other less. They even like, what would be a day if we didn't absolutely piss each other off? Yeah, fair enough. I'm liking those things, but I also like that I mentioned last time that I really needed that moment to be like a turning point of some kind. And even though she tests his teeth and like looks at it afterwards and it doesn't look changed at all, we do have later when she checks him again that he does like indeed have some kind of progress. And the reason I'm using some air quotes there is because it isn't getting better, but it's no longer getting worse. Like, it's just kind of stalled in place. It stopped. The rot has stopped spreading. So this is what I wanted, essentially. And remembering like an idiot that this is indeed book 1 in a duology, because I forgot, kind of changes my expectations just a tiny bit. I do have expectations for both his health and their romance in this book. Them being in a good place and like kind of having a little bit of a breakthrough is where I wanted this to start heading. So we're hitting those notes for his health. And I do at least want like a full kiss by the end of this book. I do expect them to be ripped apart from each other, like in a cliffhangery moment for the end of the book. If they're not, that's also fine, but I do expect it because that is typical in a series, and especially in a 2-book or a 3-book series with their fantasy romance. So I have that expectation. We had some things uncovered in this section of the book that have me really excited for what's going to be happening mystery wise. So, but before I get into my predictions, let's talk a little bit more about some of the analysis stuff. They had a break-in, right? And we knew that Osric was kind of coerced, blackmailed into investigating it. And they found like the wealthy sidearm of one of the kings or whatever, Wellesley, might have been behind this. And they find that from Scrope, who, you know, dies of being stabbed 40 times by a fork, which was great. And then put in the septic, which was also great because he was absolutely scum of the earth, deserved to dissolve in scum. But why this guy, one, tried to infiltrate? I still think it's for the money or to find information, because 2, when he lures her there, Aurienne there, and is questioning her and won't let her go, and like making it so that no Freyan can actually like pop through the shadows to get them. Totally a great scene, by the way. You saw my reaction to it, I'm sure. I love the needless blood and violence, like with all the other ridiculousness that's going on. That made my day. I am kind of like a blood hungry writer too, but in this case I love when people just like disseminate, not the main characters granted, but like anybody else is fair game. But anyways, his questioning who donated it, and of course it being Osric, and the implications of what they found in the, I think it was rum bottles, being a liquid that helps keep viruses, and their, of course, their connection to the pox. So like, why are they making all of these kids sick? Like, what is the outcome of this? I don't think we're going to find that out in this book, but I do think we're going to find a major clue, a major reveal by the end of the book that has to do with this. And I can't wait to see what happens in that, because the predictions for the overall, like, not just them plot is that whatever that is gonna, like, we're going to resolve a main question at the end of this book, but it's also going to lead us to several more questions that are going to need to be answered in book 2. So us finding that is probably going to be the end of book 1. I also think by the end of book 1, by the end of this book, that we're going to have them he's not going to be healed yet, like I mentioned, and the place where he killed the seer, I can't remember what it's called because I'm a terrible vlogger, that they couldn't infiltrate because he's wanted. They would kill him, the 3 deaths. I think they're going to either be infiltrating it by the end of this book, or like that's going to happen early in book 2, and that's going to be kind of like our cliffhanger for that one. It'd be really cool to see them there. That'd be part of like their breakup moment, or the separation moment before we jump into book 2, straight into the action, getting shit done, saving each other, yada yada. Like that's kind of my belief. I also love that like the infiltration was all Xanthi because she is obnoxiously great. I love her fucking character and how she keeps describing Aurienne's big balls and how big her balls are. And of course, because and the moment where she kills Wesley and she doesn't mean to, she's like, I'm a murderer. Like it's creating more of those blurred lines between the two of their characters to try to like, I think he's gonna have to be one to help her get over that and to show her that not all death is bad. I'm sure like not all of his kills have been bad, even though he doesn't believe in like turning down them if the money's good because that's part of his order. But anyways, I think they're gonna like influence each other in that way, that she's gonna be like, you can't really just kill these people just because you want to kill these people, which she's been repeating. To be fair, she has been repeating this, but I think it's going to in his brain like he's gonna kill the wrong person or he's gonna feel bad about it at some point, and you know, having those melding of the absolute good and the absolute evil, find some gray middle ground. So that's my other prediction. Oh, and the nipple thing and Lothric being there, oh my goodness, just ridiculous. But yes, I am very excited about this book and where it's going. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. What are your predictions? Do you think I'm full of shit? Are you on board with what I think is gonna happen? Let me know. I'm totally good with either of those options or somewhere between. But yeah, we're gonna finish this book next week in our read along. I can't wait to talk about the ending with you, to have full predictions for book 2, which I already feel like I'm gonna want to read eventually when it comes out, whenever that is. And yeah, you know, thanks for being here. I will see you next time. Bye.